It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. It's time for the top 3 stories of the day, KSLSports.com. It's brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials, J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, BYU basketball's Kennard Davis Jr. was arrested yesterday morning for alleged DUI.
Yeah, this is a bad story. It's kind of a scary story. He got into a wreck yesterday, according to the police. And I don't see the time that it happened.
It was in the morning.
Yeah, in the morning.
It was like quarter to noon. It was like 11:30.
Right. That's kind of what I had seen, that it was early in the day, and there was a 2-car wreck. And, he explained the damage of it, and it sounds like he went straight to the police station, not to the hospital, which I guess I'm glad he's healthy, obviously. But, you can't be getting DUIs anywhere, any school. Really hard to get them at BYU because in addition to the normal rules and laws that everyone applies to, there's the honor code. And he's a starter. This is a big transfer. This is not A.J. DiBonsa. This isn't the biggest name on BYU's team, but this is a big player to transfer in who was expected to be a part of the team and really help them this year.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with all that. And a DUI is never good. An accident, all that. I'm happy everybody is healthy, right. Honestly. First and foremost. Also, young people make mistakes. This is a bad one, but young people make mistakes. So all that context, Ben, I think the relevant conversation is, how is BYU communicating their honor code? I'm trying to think of a better way to put that, but how are they selling it? How are they enforcing it? I think that's the relevant discussion. And it's because there has been an influx of non-LDS athletes at BYU in this new atmosphere. Now, Ben, I do this a lot, and I apologize for it, but I'm old enough to remember when Gary Croton was here. I was just starting my career, and BYU was doing something similar, where they were bringing in more non-LDS outside athletes. Now, I know, not from official reports, but I know from talking to people, that the message was, there's an honor code, but not really.
Yeah.
Just don't tell anybody about it. Keep your nose clean and, stay under the radar and don't worry about it. That was the messaging going to athletes. It backfired big time.
Big time, yeah.
Big time. It did. It really set the program back, honestly, because people didn't know what they were getting into. And one thing that Bronco did, and he talked about it often when he had the BYU job, is he led with the honor code.
Yeah.
He said, this is how it works here. And you don't have to convert to the religion, but you have to adhere to the standards. And if you don't, there will be consequences. Like Jamal Williams, for example, was... it's amazing. Like, I was always impressed in a weird way that he stayed.
Absolutely.
Because probably he knew the rules. He knew what he was getting into, and he knew what the punishments would be. None of it came as a surprise to him. And so I don't know currently how they're selling the honor code when they're recruiting these players. I really don't. I have no idea. But this can happen when you change your recruiting strategy at a unique place like BYU. And I think that is relevant. Are players coming in with the understanding that there's an honor code and it will be enforced? Or are they coming in with the understanding of, yeah, there's one, but don't really worry about it? Does that make any sense? And I don't know, but I do think it's very relevant.
It is relevant. I'm very hesitant to speculate about it, and I don't think you are either. You're not speculating about it, but I recognize the question. It's also, and look, now Kennard Davis is 20 years old. He can't be drinking. Well, we don't even know what he got his DUI is for.
I'm more broadening the question as opposed to this circumstance.
You're right.
There's nothing
totally
acceptable about the current circumstance, as you put it, at any school.
You're right. And the DUI and being 20 years old. And again, we don't know if it actually is for alcohol. I didn't see that. I've looked at the stories. I didn't see it was alcohol. I don't know if it was weed.
I'm not trying
I don't know what it was.
I'm not trying to talk about this situation. You know what? He's got enough on his plate. Like, we'll see how it goes.
But
I'm broadening it out to how are you selling BYU's lifestyle to non-LDS outsiders who don't know?
And Kennard Davis is actually a little bit interesting here. And Jake Retzlaff was a little bit, though it has since been cleared. They said there was nothing illegal about what Jake Retzlaff did.
No, but there was premarital sex.
But no, so that's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
So what happened with Jake Retzlaff? What happened with Brandon Davies? What happened with Jamal Williams? Did they break the law? None of them, according to the law, did anything illegal. Jamal and Brandon Davies were never accused of it. Jake Retzlaff was, but he was cleared. Okay, nothing illegal at all. And BYU still can't allow them to play or has to suspend them for a certain amount of time. And that's where, of course, this just becomes a bigger story. Now, look, 20-year-old driving under the influence, illegal regardless of where you are. That's not just BYU. What. But there are 21-year-olds who are going to transfer to BYU. This kid that just committed to BYU, who's 25 years old and played in the G League, he can go get a beer after if he wants to at every other school.
So how are you enforcing it and how are you selling it? I do think that is relevant.
I'm with you, and that's where I think it does get interesting for BYU. And if there is a point where whoever is in charge puts the clamps on where the NIL money comes from or where it gets spent or who it gets spent on, or if you're not as comfortable with transfers coming in because while they're not doing anything illegal, they're not living the lifestyle that BYU is comfortable with or allows, period, then that could change the outlook of things.
And there are plenty of non-LDS athletes that can thrive at BYU.
There are. We've seen it.
We've seen it a bunch of times. But they shouldn't be buffaloed about the standards because then you're messing with accountability. You know, Ben, I'm more than happy to be accountable for a decision that I make good or bad on my own. But if I don't know the consequences, or I don't think it's a big deal, or I'm told that it's not going to be then all of a sudden accountability goes out the window. You know what I mean?
Right. If you are stealing headphones from the station all the time, like you are, but everyone just says it's fine, it's not a big deal. But if all of a sudden it becomes a fireable offense,
and then and you know who suffers? Me.
Right.
Like the athlete will suffer.
Yes, exactly right.
Because BYU win. And I'm trying to make sure this isn't controversial, but BYU, when confronted with a public situation, will not pick your side. And I don't mean that to be, I'm not trying to bag on BYU here.
No,
I'm just
saying.
saying.
The honor code is bigger than the player.
Right.
That's fine.
Thank you for putting that better than I would. But yeah, so the athlete doesn't think it's a big deal, breaks the honor code. It's public and BYU has to do something. They're not going to back the athlete.
Correct. And again, it is important to remember that while, yes, this does break the honor code, he broke the law.
Right. And again, that's why I'm trying to move on from this particular, or not move on, but the conversation isn't about this. This is wrong. I feel for the bad decision that this kid made. He's going to have to face the consequences. It's going to cost him in his personal life.
Yeah, dearly.
It is, there's no one today that is coming out and going, well, this was a good decision.
Yeah.
Or I know that fans get loose on the internet. There's not actually a Utah State fan out there that is happy that this person made a bad decision in their life. That is not a thing.
Agreed.
So I don't think there's actually a whole lot to talk about with this particular circumstance other than, God, we got to make better decisions.
This isn't necessarily specific to BYU, though I'm sure there are some schools that have lighter punishments for kids getting DUIs than others. And BYU will not be one of the ones that has a lighter punishment.
No. All right, what's next?
Number 2, the Jazz fell short last night against the Atlanta Quinn Snyders.
Interesting game. I actually thought a pretty fun game. No defense until the last 6 minutes from Atlanta, and they were really good in those last 6 minutes. Like we mentioned, they only gave up 4 points. They held the Jazz to 2 of 11 shooting and forced 4 turnovers, so that was impressive to see them locked down because that's not necessarily been a staple when they've had Trae Young. But Lauri Markkanen scored 40. Ace Bailey set his 4th consecutive career high in scoring with 21 points. And, as you mentioned, he just does look like he's becoming a star.
Well, a little premature there, but I get what you're saying. He seems to be getting better every game, and he's really smooth out there, and he has
I thought we had a drop for that.
A nice game. We do. But it is 4 good games in a row. I think moving into the starting lineup obviously has given him a little confidence. I think that's probably a pretty good thing. Last night, though, was an absolute layup line, which is hilarious. You make a good point till the end of the fourth quarter when Atlanta decided to not have it that way. I don't think setting the defensive culture is going well.
Of course not. You've given up
part of the plan. But the problem is, though, Ben, is they're so now fatally flawed, they really can't play defense, which is weird. Like, how do you set a defensive culture when...
How do you yell at Bryce Sensabaugh about not playing defense when Lauri Markkanen and Yusuf Nurkic don't play defense?
Yeah, How do you do that? So maybe that's an unfair criticism that setting the defensive culture isn't going well, but it isn't going well because they can't stop anybody at the rim, and it is a layup line. And then when you try to commit resources to stopping guys at the rim, then you give up open threes, right? And then Okongwu is setting career highs with 8 made threes because
they hit 24 threes.
There's nobody in the same county as him. And Jalen Johnson is having a just historic night because there's nobody that can stay in front of him or get a hand in his face.
Vic Krejci off the bench hits 6 of 8 from 3.
Yeah, and so it's weird because the Jazz are flawed. But like I said, they really should have lost that game by 30 points. They had no business. I mean, they had it within midway through the fourth quarter?
It was 119 to 118, and the Jazz finished with 122 points over the final 6 minutes.
Right. I mean, they really had no business being in that game the way that Atlanta was playing. And the fact that the Jazz turned it over 24 times, which is wild.
Including 18 live balls, which live ball turnovers are basically
It's a dunk.
Yeah, it's a dunk. It's a layup. It's a wide open shot.
Or an and one, which the Jazz are weirdly bad at that. Like Jerry Sloan, I've told you this, Ben, but his biggest pet peeve ever, like you could set your watch to it. If you fouled a guy on a fast break and he still made the shot, you were coming out of the game. It was like his number one pet peeve.
Yeah.
If you were going to foul him, he better not make it.
Yeah.
You might as well just give up the layup.
Foul, but use your foul.
But use your foul. Don't let him make it. And he would pull out anybody on the team. You could plan it. You'd be like, oh, Howard Isley's coming out of the game. Because it's kind of inexcusable, honestly. And the Jazz kind of give up a lot of those, which is strange. But
Will Hardy was quite optimistic, I thought, after the game. He says he sees a really good team here. Talking about the Jazz.
There's not much to be bent out of shape. I mean, the T-Wolves game last Friday, by all means, get bent out of shape. I mean, unless you're really going to get after Yusuf Nurkic for being borderline worthless.
It's not.
What are you going to say?
It's not hard to see what the Jazz's problem is. They can't defend teams that play on the perimeter. They can't. And it's not everybody. But because you have a center who simply cannot leave the paint in Yusuf Nurkic, and now you're saddled with him. As much as I enjoy watching him play, because he almost had a triple-double last night, and he did have 5 steals on top of it, and he's just kind of fun to watch because he does weird things. And I'm not a fan, so I don't care if he's costing the Jazz game, so I enjoy it, but I understand why Jazz fans wouldn't. But you know why they lost last night, and it's because Yusuf Nurkic can't do anything defensively. You're playing 5-on-4 every single, or 4-on-5 defensively every trip down the floor because his backup is Kevin Love and has similar issues.
I can't watch Nurk miss layups.
He was better last night.
You can't enjoy. He was a little better.
4-7.
He was a little better.
Yeah.
He misses so many layups.
He does, and he turns the ball over a lot.
And he insists on dribbling for some reason.
He does. He likes to bring the ball up the court. And I like it. I support it.
Okay.
But the story is Ace Bailey, 8 of 13, 4 of 7 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and he truly gets better every time he's on the floor.
What's next?
Number 3, it's a football Friday. That means it's a big weekend ahead for Utah and BYU.
Big for both. You know, this is the nice part. Again, I'm glad they're in the same conference because I think it makes the football season more fun. And I'm particularly glad BYU's in a conference, period. Yeah. Because these two games, now granted, the opponents are not boring opponents, but they're not super awesome opponents either. But you know what? Both games are interesting because both games really matter.
They do
If
matter,
Utah loses another one, they are out of conference contention.
But mathematically eliminated.
Eliminated. Yeah. So they have to win. Ben, I'm not usually the one to throw around this tag.
Say it!
It's usually you. But if the Utes want to win the conference title, this weekend's game against Baylor is a must win.
Must win. Sound
and you're going to say that every week from here on out.
Now, it is not a must win for BYU But if they want their road to remain clear, which it is pretty clear to get to the conference title game, then they need a
to
win
keep winning
against TCU.
Yeah, if they want to make the college football playoff, I would suggest they keep winning games.
They don't have to.
They do not have to.
It is not a must-win if they want to make the playoff.
No, it is
not.
But if I were to offer my 2 cents, I would think it would be a high value for them to win this game.
But can you imagine if we were talking about a stupid non-conference game against San Jose State or something?
No, talking about Utah last year stunk.
Oh, I'm more referring back to it's November, and BYU is playing a meaningful game, not only in a conference, but on the national stage.
Right.
And it just never happened in Independence because it wasn't possible. And then we're left to fluff up like BYU and San Antonio or whatever in November. It doesn't even matter.
No, if let's set the scale. Utah, BYU, everything that was on the line in that game, or even BYU, Texas Tech last week, everything that was on the line in that game. If that's like a 90 game out of 100, it's not the Sugar Bowl, it's not the greatest game, but it's like a 90 out of 100, super important. Where would you put Utah Baylor? Like what? Give it a number score.
Well, I mean, Utah can still win the league.
They can.
So I'd put it.
So it's not nothing.
No, I'd put it up above 50.
It's above 50,
Yeah,
right?
like
I think that's
60
very
or
fair
70?
because we have seen Utah Air Force or Utah New Mexico or whatever these games that didn't matter.
But there is something on the line, and they're playing against above 500 P4 team.
It's
Yeah,
only a slightly above 50 game, and when's it on TV? It's 5 o'clock on ESPN. Like, this is a huge game.
Yeah.
This would be the game that you circled before the season. Like, Utah got 2 games on national TV this year. Holy cow, they're everywhere. And now it's just like, yeah, that's just where they play against a team that's above 500 that, yeah, it has a chance to derail Utah's final hopes of making the college football playoff or going to the Big 12 title game. So, yeah, it's a relatively huge game compared to what they have played 15 years ago. And for BYU, these are all brand new.
All right, Steve Bartle at the top of the 11 o'clock hour. Stay tuned for that. Greg Wrubell, voice of the Cougs, will be with us at 11:30. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.